fantastical, so unpredictable, here on the SNL Network.
Yes, that is right. Hello, everybody, and welcome on in to the SNL Network for the first ever episode of Point Counterpoint here on the SNL Network. It is a show that I have wanted to produce for a long time. This is a show that originates all the way back in the 70s, in the original era of Saturday Night Live on Weekend Update. They had a Point Counterpoint that continued and kept going for many, many years between different Weekend Update anchors. And it is a segment that we are bringing back in 2022 with some of our panelists to debate some great SNL topics. So if you're here live with us on this Monday night, we want to see your comments on the chat. We also want to know if you like this show, if you like the segments and we're producing, and how we put this thing together. This could definitely be part of the rotation in season 48. So we want to get that feedback to know if that's something that you want to see more of as we start to work our way towards building that season 48 schedule. All right, so we have two competitors joining us for the first episode of Point Counterpoint, and I figured there was no two better people to kick things off with than these two. So first up, it is the man from That Week in SNL, Andrew Dick. Andrew, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can't wait to see what comes of this. This is the third time I've talked to TJ, and now we need to go toe-to-toe, blow-to-blow on some SNL debating. And I don't know, it feels a little wrong, but I'm ready to go. Because I did listen back to the two episodes we were on, and I was like, yeah, I can see why John wanted to do this, because we were already getting into stuff on those two. So it's like, all right, yeah, I could see it. Let's go.
Yeah, I love the prep work that you did before this to scout your opponent out, Andrew. That's exactly what we needed here tonight. So TJ is with us as well, TJ Randolph. TJ, did you do as much prep work on Andrew Dick as he did on you?
Hell no. I just remember how I felt. Outside, the podcasting recording realm, and Andrew and I think, I see a bit of camaraderie there. But when I listen to this man on episodes I'm not on, I get furious with his takes sometimes on sketches. But every time I chat with him, yeah, we bicker, but it's also he's delightful to podcast with. So I'm excited. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up friends at the end of this. Maybe we'll end up mortal enemies. I'm coming, fist and knife emojis, thinking about this. I'm ready for some chaos. I'm ready to be a little ratchet. But granted, I don't really think of ratchetness when I think of debate. But I'm trying some things here. I'm trying some stuff.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So we have 6 topics tonight. I did give Andrew and TJ these topics in advance. Essentially, we were looking for things that there was some sort of natural disagreement about. I didn't want them to both come in and be on the same side of something. Or if they had very strong takes, that was totally fine as well. So we're going to get into each of those topics tonight. The topics will last about 10 minutes as they debate back and forth to figure out who is right. I will be there as a moderator, so I'll give my input a little bit throughout the segment. And, I'm not necessarily going to say exactly who wins each debate, but if somebody is saying something awful, I will tell them and we will go from there. But of course, like I said, if you're watching us in the live chat, tonight's the night to jump in and let us know what you think. All right, Andrew,
so are we going to choose a winner on the certain topics? Like, will chat get to vote or?
Yeah, I mean, for sure you could do that. We can also have the listeners after the fact tell us who won each debate. So that's no problem. Like I said, we're very community based. So we can have all the people who are listening after the fact let us know who won each debate and who won overall tonight on the Point Counterpoint. Would love to hear that as we go forward. So Andrew, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, TJ, are you ready to go?
I mean, let's do it.
Okay. All right, let's start things off. Let's do it this way. I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to have Andrew Dick on the left, TJ on the right. There you go. So we have this little debate format. Okay, well, TJ, you want the left? Who wants the left? Who wants the right here?
Hey, I'll take the left. No, I don't care.
Okay. All right. So we have the three of us right here. I'll be there in the middle. And this is what we are going to do. We're going to kick things off with our first debate topic tonight. And we're going to start with a conversation that we have had on the podcast many times this season. We had some incredible new cast members join the show. And quickly, we saw James Austin Johnson make his mark. And then we saw Sarah Sherman make her mark on the show. And one of these guys thinks that Sarah Sherman had the better rookie season. One of these guys thinks James Austin Johnson had the better rookie season. So, Andrew, Dick, I will start with you on this one. Who had the better rookie season in season 47?
All right. Well, my choice was Sarah because I think she had the most amount of an uphill battle for this season, especially like even before we saw the first episode, people then knew what Sarah was about. It was like, this is a giant mistake. Either like she's not going to be able to do any of this, or it's going to be very toned down, and it's not going to be any fun. And yet, by the end of the season, Sarah did get over. She got at least, the meatballs sketch was something completely in the realm of her body horror comedy that she was doing before. And, managed to sneak into a whole bunch of sketches and, basically make her voice, her tonality heard. And, that's not to say that James also didn't have a great season, but I think, he did get a little bit of a leg up from just, he's now the new impression guy. So he's always going to be there in the cold opens. Like that's kind of a given for him now. Whereas, Sarah kind of had to fit into the machinery a little bit more. And I think they both had incredible seasons. I wish I could be sitting here saying it was Aristotle, because of the three, I still think that the Laughing
He's not an option.
I'm just saying, still,
but on
of
that
the three,
we agree. On that we agree.
Of the three, the Laughing Tosh 3000 was, I feel, the funniest bit that any of the three got to do. So I wish I could be saying that. But I'm going to go with Sarah, because honestly, I did not believe that she would be able to put as much of herself over as she did.
Okay. TJ, what do you think?
The thing that makes me furious about this is that I have to defend James Austin Johnson, and I have to show Andrew why he's wrong. Because when we look at it, like, who was the first face we saw of the season? It was James Austin Johnson. It was JAJ. We saw his face at the beginning of the season. It opened it up. And I don't remember who said the quote that it was whoever gets the president role basically kind of has like a lock for SNL. But basically, while I might like Sarah more and she might be more dynamic as a performer, JAJ got he has the job security, which means he had a better rookie season. There's no doubt in the mind that he was going to be back for the second season. I mean, that he's going to be coming back for another season because, well, he got the president gig. We have Biden for another 3 years, so that's a lock. And also, basically, we saw his face so much, and for a rookie to dominate as well as he did and place, John, didn't he place like in the top 10 ranks at the end of the season, or like maybe like a spot 11? Who's in the first half, the top half?
You mean for sketch appearances for the season?
Yeah.
He was very high up. I will tell you guys right now where I'll actually tell you where they both landed for the season. So James Austin Johnson was 12th for the season overall, and Sarah Sherman was 17th, 16th if you don't count Steve Higgins. So let's say 16th for the season. So
I mean, and this is one of the beautiful things about the SNL Network is that the numbers don't lie. I'm speaking strictly objectively here, not in terms of what I enjoyed content wise about him, because I think he's kind of mid, if I'm being honest. I think the content he's done on SNL I have found mid. I don't have a judgment on him as an individual comedian. If I saw him live, I don't have a judgment on that yet.
Well, guys, I mean, this debate comes down to how you define better, right? So for TJ, does better for
statistically
you mean, okay, statistically, but maybe for
in this
Andrew,
case,
that isn't. No.
Well, the question of like what defines better is a great question. I think of it like, who is Lorne more likely to go to? Sarah had to kind of scratch and claw, like get in with the PDD guys. She had to like form bonds. Basically, it was as though I feel like JAJ got the cosign that Pete got. The difference is that like JJ's already married and has a child, so he's probably not going to be spitting game like Pete does. But he got the Lorne cosign, is what I feel like he got. Alex Moffat had it, and Alex Moffat was there for what, 5 years, as the president, and he got that taken from him by like a new guy. Granted, a new guy that's fantastic, but I don't know, it just. And I hate that this is my argument, but it's just obvious. Like, come on. Like, also think about this. When I've listened to every single roundtable and hot take show that we did this season. All right, ones that I was on, and whatever. Like ones that I mean, you're entertaining. I can't help it. Like,
hey, wait, like, no, you can't do that. You can't be fluffing the host like that.
I'm not. I guarantee I'm on the program. I'm not fluffing the host. No, but like. When it comes down to it, one, the data shows that like he got the higher sketch appearances. Two, it feels like he could just kind of like I don't know, like going into the second season, like it feels like he's the guy. And the biggest argument against him is actually something that this program perpetuated, which is the amount of time. And I know this because I think about the amount of times I rolled my eyes while I was listening to an episode that I wasn't on. The amount of times I heard the JAJ gush, especially from you, John. Who dominated the season as a rookie. This is not a conversation. This isn't even a conversation. Sarah's amazing, but it's not. This is like, it's kind of a ridiculous question to ask because it's like, what's better? It's like ramen from a restaurant or like ramen made at home? Well, I don't know, but it feels like a stupid question to ask. Like, not stupid. It just feels like.
No, it is stupid.
Yeah, like we know the answer to this.
No, because you are basically saying James was handed this to him on a platter.
Yes.
Sarah had to fight for it, and they're both at the
As
same,
women have to do.
the same level. So she had to put in more legwork, be more, catching the audience than him, who was the first face we saw. Already kind of grandfathered into him, like, oh, it's going to be an amazing season for him because look at this. But she had to fight for it, and she got it. So I that's why I feel it's obviously more Sarah. There was more spunk there.
I feel like you're answering a different question because when I think about Sarah, I think about like the dynamism, whatever. She's such a dynamic performer. Like what she does is going to be extremely different from what like JJ does. JJ does what he does exceptionally well. There's no contest about that. But Sarah does it differently. You can't predict it as easily. Like, to be honest, I don't know that I would ever go see. Well, I would go see JAJ live if there was like an SNL like rookie show, which I think there's been a few of those easily. I don't know that I would go to a Sarah show because I don't know what I'm going to get. No. Yeah. Only because I don't like. Let me rephrase it. It's not anything against her. I'm not great when it comes to grotesque things, and I know that's more her thing. I wouldn't go because I don't know what I would get, which I don't need to all the time, but like she's outside of the boundary. So like I can see your argument. Sorry.
Let me jump in for a second. So no problem. Guys, I want you guys to go back and forth. So I just want to say, you don't know what you would get. Some people in particular love that from SNL. They look to SNL to potentially not know what they're going to get, i.e. that's Andrew Dick's, premise and things is he likes to watch and be surprised. If it's predictable all the time, then
that's fair.
That's not what works for them. So Andrew, do you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. So, I think James is kind of working in a slot that SNL has already had, the sort of Daryl Hammond, utility impression guy. Bill Hader was that for a little while, so those types of things. Sarah doesn't really have, I guess, you could just put her in the weird cast member, but still she's working outside of a box that, SNL doesn't usually work within. So that's also for the better rookie season, just her still getting that stuff on, with the help of the PDD boys and Dismukes,
Is that James Austin Johnson's fault, though? Is it his fault that there were people like him previously, the Dana Carveys, the Daryl Hammonds of the world?
No, not at all. I mean, that's just how SNL works. Like they will just cast for the same sort of templates that they've been using, and he's fine. He's great. This is not me saying that I don't like James. I think he's great. He did have a great season. I just think that Sarah had to work a little bit harder to have the same great season, so that gives her the leg up.
That doesn't. That means she had to struggle more. It means she had a better uphill battle. It honestly, in a better way. Like, I'd read her book before I would read JAJ's book. Granted, here's the thing: I'm making this up, so I have no idea if this is true.
I feel you keep on making my own point for me.
Because I agree with you a little bit, but I think you're answering the wrong. I think you're wrong to this question. I think the question of the better season is JAJ. Because of the amount of screen time, the amount of roles, the amount of presence, the level up that he had. Whereas Sarah had maybe a more interesting journey. She had to have stuff pigeonholed more. We have no idea like what JAJ might have had to be cut, but we know Sarah had to get some stuff cut. We know she had to go in there and like be molded. JAJ fit. And we know how we know that? Because he was the wigger that was at the start of the episode at the beginning of the season.
Okay, we're 10 minutes in. Let's do final points on this one, Andrew.
Oh, I just made my final point.
Okay, all right. So TJ took his, then Andrew, you wrap it up.
TJ, you ignorant slut.
There you go.
There we go.
All right, chat. So if you think Andrew won, let us know. If you think TJ won, let us know. We want to see your votes in the chat. And of course, if you're listening after the fact, let us know as well. All right. Both had incredible rookie seasons. Personally, I don't fault JAJ for, what came before him. I think he had a historic rookie season. I think Sarah had a great rookie season. Historic, probably better than great. So I would
I know.
Me with JAJ. Yeah. So
I've listened to every episode you've done.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I see arguments on both sides, and that's why we debated it today. So let's talk about another topic that's a little bit related to season 47, but looking forward to season 48. On the podcast last year, we really felt like this was a huge breakout season for Chris Redd. We spoke to him during the summer. If you missed that, you can go back and listen to that interview. He is awesome. And it was great to get to talk to him. And while I talked to him, I asked him what made his rookie season so great. He said he was trying new things. He's excited. He's into it. He's already writing stuff for season 48. And what we want to know is will there be another cast member that will have a breakout next year similar to Chris Redd? I mean, it doesn't have to be in the same style, but we really felt like he elevated himself from being just another cast member to being a star of the show. Which cast member will break out next year, similar to Chris Redd this year? TJ, let me start with you on this topic.
I feel like will is a strong word because I don't know, but my money. So I can only pick one.
Yeah, pick one, and then we could discuss maybe later if we have time in the end of the topic for a couple of those. Yeah.
My money's on Heidi. My money is on Heidi Gardner. Granted, in retrospect, this should have happened 2 years ago when Kate would have left right before the pandemic. That was that perfect moment for her to like seize, honestly, her and Ego. But like, I feel like with Kate gone now, Cecily kind of more in the I'll only come out if I do music or there's a dog out here. I mean, I can't slander my girl Cecily, but like, it feels like kind of like Heidi's as much as I don't like to say that the cast members fill spots, sometimes there are archetypes that they do settle into, and it kind of is fun to analyze the show in that way. And now that spot that Heidi should have had 2 years ago, where Kate filled, is open. It's and granted, like Heidi is more actress, where like Kate is kind of more like everything, but it feels like this could be like a great time. Like we know how great Heidi can be. I don't know, and I don't mean just like we can update characters. I mean, you also spoke to like her ability as utility. She can capture and she can strengthen and she can like lift up. And I maybe I want it for her a little bit too much too, because I know how capable and how fantastic she is. But with Kate not taking up so much screen, wearing so much old man makeup, I just really that's how I would put my money on is Heidi.
Okay. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, this one is tricky because, it's hard to say. It's more just who I hope will break out, basically at this point. And, kind of to bounce off what TJ is talking about, because it does feel like we kind of missed an era that never kind of happened, where it was like Heidi and Mikey and Alex were kind of the main players, and Ego were the main drivers of the show. That should have started maybe, season 43, 44, whatever, and it never ended up happening. And so, if I'm just going to forecast my hopes here, I don't know why Alex Moffat has never been given the chance to be the anchor of the show that he so obviously could be. I see, like a Phil Hartman like tenure in this man, where he can just pop into a sketch, elevate it, or just come in and randomly do a Weekend Update bit like every 8 episodes or so and crush it, and then he's gone for like another handful of episodes. And I was so excited. It's like, oh my God, Alex has the Biden role now. This is it. He's been given the blessing, and it got snatched from him, and it killed my soul in a way. And so, like, I want that for him. Also, to kind of have like a little side note, I felt this happened for Ego like 2 seasons ago, and then it got taken away. Like she was the breakout star, and then it didn't happen for like the next 2 seasons. And so I want that to happen again.
On that, we agree. Yeah.
It's just more Ego, more Alex, and everybody just kind of being 10 poles around that.
All right, but what I'm looking for here is which cast member will break out next season, and we've seen the potential for.
I haven't seen material.
Yeah,
but John, what do you
let me
think?
look at my crystal ball here, and
we're looking. We want
my money is on
predictions. Yeah,
my money is on Heidi. In a perfect world where there's something I haven't seen yet, this might be the wildest take. It'd be Mikey Day. Because I think he's such a great like underdog MVP, and he's like so consistent, but maybe he's a little too consistent. I don't know where that extra dynamic ability is, but he's clearly capable of like, I want to see Mikey as the star, not as like the reliable, like he almost has Bobby Moynihan energy, where it's like clearly amazing. Like we're going to enjoy him when he shows up, or he's getting to that level, but I want to see him reach that like star level. I'm now speaking uneducated, because I don't know what like more, because he's such a strong writer. I don't know like what that could be. So my money is still on Heidi as an actress. Matter of fact, I feel like Heidi is, of all the cast, is the one who she feels like I think this might be someone else's take. I'm pretty sure it is, but like someone said that like she's the one who could probably like steer into drama the easiest. She's one of the strongest actresses on the show, and like maybe the most capable to win an Oscar. Like she might be able to do what Kristen Wiig was trying to do with like the Skeleton Twins and stuff better. Or no, I'm not gonna argue against myself, but like
that's what the show's about.
Yeah, I know it's about oh god, this is hard. Okay, my money's on Heidi. I mean, I do agree with Andrew what he said about like we have this like alternate timeline season, because I'm speaking more from the point of 2020. If I'm really thinking about it, I'm still holding out for that like elevation of Heidi. Oh, you're wrong about Alex Moffat, by the way. Like he had the chance, barring, I don't know if there was something with the writing, that could also be an element of it too. All I remember Biden doing was walking in and tripping.
Yeah, he did like a Willy Wonka thing, and then they stuffed him in. Oh my god!
But you're wrong about Moffat.
Kamala sketch. It was awful.
It's not going to be Moffat.
Let's define this a little bit better. So let's just say a breakout season for me is somebody who, let's say, increases their roles or appearances in the season by, I don't know, like they move up significantly. They move up into the top 5 or the top 10. They start making a significant impact on the season, or they have characters that seem to go past the show. So my thing is like, I know you can't predict the future exactly, but what you can do is if I said to you, Andrew, if you had to go into Vegas right now and put your money down on which cast member will break out next season, if you're telling me that's Alex Moffat, I would tell you that's pretty risky because we've seen him get chances before and they get pulled away. Whereas what TJ's arguing with Heidi here is that we've seen the high highs and then potentially a pivot in the strategy for her as a cast member.
She hasn't had any lows. She is not. She isn't. She does not miss.
I agree with that.
That's arguable. Yeah. But you know, and I love Heidi. I'm not gonna. You know, everybody has their hits and misses. It's sketch comedy. It's SNL.
Not Heidi. Well,
I'm not.
Yeah, not Heidi.
That's okay.
No. Listen. Now, this whole thing, this whole question breaks down for me from the very beginning of the question because, you know, and I love Chris Redd. I don't really see the breakout season for Chris Redd. Especially since the way you just defined it.
All right, here's where you're wrong. I see it because Andrew, you have a far better, intellectual, encyclopedic memory and knowledge of SNL than I do. That's a fact. I'm definitely a 2000s and 2010 guy, and I've seen some old sketches. That's clearly true.
That's fine.
But that doesn't mean you still can't be wrong though, because here's the strength. Where somebody like me who watches an SNL episode maybe once or twice and rewatches some sketches here and there throughout the year, when I think back on the season, when I'm thinking not just individual episodes, I'm thinking on a season as a whole. What am I, the more casual? I'm on an SNL podcast. I'm not a casual fan, but of the two of us, I am the more casual than you, which is insane to say, right? When I think back, what do I, the common man, think back on for Chris Redd? And I think Will Smith, I think not Cory Booker, whatever the Eric Adams. Yeah. I think, Chris Redd got a chance to do more, because Pete was out, living, Chris Redd got a chance to do something he's already been doing for 4 or 5 years, which is the raps and the hip hop he was doing with Pete. He just could do this now on his own, or he can help elevate other people. I think back on those things. I have immediate things that stick out. When I think of Alex Moffat, and this is how you know this is why I'm disagreeing with you, is because when I think of Alex Moffat, as great of a player as I know he is, and I would love to see him in more seasons, I think, what do I remember? And I just remember me and Nicole being upset with him about his we bought a boat, whatever thing in the last episode. If all I remember from you is the last episode and not anything else in the season, you're not leaving last season impression. You don't like the guy not breaking out. No, I like Guy We Bought a Boat, but Nicole and I've already discussed. You can listen to that podcast, in your podcasting feed, whatever, on the Natasha Lyonne episode. I've already had that discussion, but that's the last thing. That's all I remember from that season. I remember his last thing, not different little spots and bits.
I'm just saying, if I were to argue the same thing, I would have said Andrew Dismukes was the one who broke out last year, because I felt if I'm looking back at that season, it is his sketches that pop out more to me. Nothing against Chris Redd, but as you said, Chris was just more or less doing, what he had been doing, just to a greater degree. And we did get 2 Terry Finks, which was a very nice present to me last season.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I love those. Again,
no, that's what I'm saying. I forgot
Alex.
About it. That's how you know it wasn't a breakout season.
Well, I'm not arguing that it wasn't a breakout season for Alex Moffat. But I feel if I were to argue who broke out last season, I would say Dismukes over Chris Redd. And so, following now, I'm going to switch because all I was doing was kind of hope forecasting. You know what? I'm going to stick with my, I'm going to kind of just echo my first answer. I think the person with the biggest chance to have a big breakout season next year is probably Sarah, because we've seen, she's still fresh. We've seen a little bit of what she can do. It has hit for a lot of people. And so again, with a more increased amount of that, I think she could be in that breakout role. That was the thing. It's just Chris has been kind of doing his thing. I don't think it really broke out, but Sarah still knew enough that it could break out. And so that is my revised answer.
I didn't know that rookies were on the table for breakout. I thought we were thinking, what's the term for not for featured? Starring?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think they're on the table, but I do think that I think they're on the table, and I think it's a fair answer for sure. Any cast member applies, but I do think that I see your point as well, TJ, which is that, you know, the natural trajectory of a cast member as they get better and better could be what Andrew Dismukes was following last year, going from a rookie to a sophomore. Sarah Sherman could have the same thing next year naturally. Chris Redd's trajectory, in my opinion, was not like the constant rise of going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to fifth year cast member. It took, you know, it staggered at a certain point, and he was just himself probably from year 2 to year 4. But I felt like year 5, there's a significant difference. And it seemed to be what a lot of people felt. But I totally get both sides. I get the Andrew Dismukes made a huge jump. I think Sarah Sherman will. So I think it's a good answer. And I think Heidi Gardner will have a great season as well. So all good answers here across the board. Boys, you ready to move on to topic number 3?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right, so this is going to be a fun one. This is one that was suggested by our man, Andrew Dick. He wanted to talk about this from a previous discussion that was happening on the podcast. Yeah, so he's going to come in. He'll kick things off. And he wanted to know, in season 48, should SNL move to more short form or long form sketches? And Andrew, this was a discussion we've had on the podcast previously about some of the sketches we saw in season 47 about what direction SNL should head in. So why don't you kick things off? 10 minutes on the clock.
Well, this was something and now I'm forgetting, was it the Gerard Carmichael episode?
Gerard.
Hey. It was one of the ones where we were talking about, it was like the tenant meeting sketch. And it was out of that this conversation was built out of, where I was just saying, you know, you had like 20 cast members come in with like 2 lines each. And it like nothing was building for it to work with me. You know, I couldn't understand the character before it was already gone. And that did spin off into a brief little debate that I don't think we got to finish because we had sketches to talk about. But this has been a thing for me, a sticking point for me in SNL, for a while. And it's not to say that they don't do long sketches, because they obviously do, but it's how you do a long form sketch. And I want a sketch that, and we did actually get to see a couple of those last season. The mattress store sketch in particular sticks in my mind. Of it had a story and an escalation and beats, and everything just kind of had a natural rhythm of escalation and learning these characters, and it getting more and more insane it built into, you know, a climax. And I kind of miss the fact that like when SNL could just do a scene, you know, it doesn't need to be, you know, sort of wacky town where it's just like, okay, well, who's going to be spitting all the crazy lines that nobody would ever say in reality, when you could do something that is a little bit more grounded and observational and unique, especially for now. It would be so unique for SNL to just kind of do a slower slice of life type of sketch. And you know, sometimes you really need to fight, you know, have a purpose for a sketch to go over 7 minutes or so. But we've been living in a land where every single cold open is damn near 10 minutes long. And it doesn't need to be, because it's all just chunks of short form things. And it doesn't make any sense as a sketch as a whole. So I want them to think of a sketch as, you know, like a song, you know, just like have a place where you're going to in the end. So yeah, I just want more long form sketches in a unique way that they have not done in a while. So that's my point.
Okay, TJ, let's get your point.
So one, I love this question. It was not in the email, but I do like this question.
It was in the email.
It was in the
totally
email.
I answered every question in that email. Or maybe
Should I bring up my email?
I'm looking at my email, but I can't read it as I'm currently podcasting, sir.
It was in the email.
Point, counterpoint. Did TJ get the email?
Yeah, don't debate with the email creator. Yeah.
I responded to the email.
Okay, TJ.
And you edited out email arguments aside. What was the question? question? Oh, it's on the screen. Okay.
Should
sorry,
SNL move from more short form or
I
long
heard it.
form sketches? Yeah.
It was such a random tangent. I'm sorry. Okay.
I think I win this
All
one.
right.
Yeah.
I apologize. Okay. One, I think this question is a really fantastic one. Two, once again, I see a couple of things that you and I agree on, Andrew. But hip hop butts. This is the reason it doesn't work. The short of it, well, actually, the short of the short form is there's a few things here. One, SNL is still a network TV show, which means they have time constraints. John, you've been there before. Don't they have like, when live TV, don't they have like time going off like constantly and whatnot? Like counting down 30 seconds to whatever, or like just like,
Yeah.
In the streaming era of television, SNL has managed to thrive. However, if they start doing more long form content, I don't necessarily know if they have that same like grab. I think your answer is great, but I don't think it's right for this like type of question because, and I mean that in a very lighthearted kind of way, because like if you want a longer sketch, then like make a streaming comedy. That's where they don't have to worry about time constraints and like what they release and what they do. Watch Astronomy Club or like I Think You Should Leave. Watch something that allows and doesn't constrict people in how they make sketches. SNL, while granted, yes, they need to stop with these long political cold opens that
I was
suck.
going to say they already
we agree on that. Yeah, they already do it and they suck. You have an example of this long form thing and they're not good at it because they're trying to fit it. You argued it yourself on like why it just doesn't work. I agree. You could build some fantastic content, but I think with the way SNL kind of does things, we might not get a chance to see as many people shine. We might get less might get a few sketches. I mean, it might be kind of fun if we got like, I don't know, YouTube exclusive like SNL sketches like we get with the Cut for Times, where it's maybe, hey, this is something we wanted to put out and this is like a longer sketch. That could work. But in terms of the show, it just doesn't work. You're saying Mattress Store is long? It's under 5 minutes. I feel like that's a pretty like solid time. Amazing sketch, by the way. Great reference. But like, I think that's like a good like time for a sketch. Like I dread when I see that like 13-minute time on like a cold open, but I get excited when I see a long time on like the full weekend update piece. Like I really enjoy that. Like long form can work with an SNL, but
now what if it was if you saw that as a sketch? Would you be intrigued? You would not be intrigued.
No, unless I saw the Netflix logo in front of it. Like that's like, I don't know. It's just
why? Well, I mean,
maybe I'm thinking about it from a production standpoint. I don't think it works from a production standpoint.
No, but they have done it. It's been done before. That's my whole point, is that SNL can do this. They have a whole bunch of time in each, chunk of the show to do, as many sketches as they want to do in there. Sometimes they do 2, sometimes they do 3. Maybe they could choose to do 1. I mean, they've gone up to like 18 minutes. I'm not saying they should always do this, but this show has done like 18-minute long sketches where it's like all these days, there's a whole sprawling storyline. The Pepsi syndrome sketch is probably the best exemplar of this. Where you tell a whole story, all these sets. You can get almost the entire cast in there too. I think
make a new show. Then just make a new TV show if you want to make all this like long form content. It is
I'm just saying this could be something that they do every so often. It doesn't need to be make a new show. SNL should, it's in their DNA to provide a variety of comedy, of sketch comedy. And, this is something that they used to do that was on the table that is no longer on the table. And I know like, again, Sarah and Please Don't Destroy apparently somewhere along last season had like a multi-set, epic sketch that, they ended up not doing. But a lot of people, apparently that saw it and dressed it. It was very interesting. And I just think, the show could do it. Doesn't have to do it every single episode. But if somebody has a big sprawling idea that they can get, it's like Jim Downey would say, like he loved doing those because it got everybody, all the writers in the cast. If you had a good idea, everybody could come together and throw their input in on it. And also that meant also for the rundown of the show, if you want to speak production wise, he knew that sketch wasn't going to get cut because they already put too much time in it. And so, Jim Downey knew and the cast knew, well, that one's staying in. And so, I just think it's a thing that is on the table that they just don't do anymore. And for somebody, like TJ that is, has watched the show from the 2000s and beyond, where they haven't really done that. I just don't think you have seen them doing that. So you don't even know how amazing it could be.
Yes,
you just see those endless cold opens and go, I hate this idea.
Listen, old man, Andrew, sir. We're not in the old SNL episodes anymore. You can talk about them, remember them as much as you want to. There's 25 years before the 2000s for you. You can watch your stories and watch your SNLs as much as you want to. But I'm in 2022, son, where short form comedy is king. You can make a joke in 6 seconds.
You don't even know what you used to have. You don't even know.
Now, granted, I will add that your idea, I don't think it's a poor idea, but it works better if you upload it. I don't know. It seems like something you would just do as a better YouTube video. Long form content does exist. People listen to 3 hours. You guys made a 4.5 hour podcast, like ranking each individual things. And I listened to every single second of it. And by the way, good job. Great content. Like, there is a place for long form content online.
So why is it not on television? What is this whole thing of it can't be on television?
Because you're not Donald Glover and FX isn't letting you make a 35-minute TV show when they clearly told you the line is 22 minutes. Like,
but it's a network it's SNL. They have the chance. They have the time to do it.
Because you remember things a different way, old man, but it's not the time.
Okay. All right. Final points. Final point, Andrew.
TJ, you pompous ass.
Is that your final point? All right.
I think I made my point. But yeah, I'm just saying it's something
wait. My last point, by the way, is
okay.
We've seen long form content in the form of the political sketches. It tanked. We also saw it in the form of when did Taylor Swift just like make that bloated like 10-minute song? I don't need it. Just if you're gonna do it, at least make it like something that I know a lot of people like her and she's cool. She makes some hits.
I mean, I agree. I didn't need 10 minutes of that song either.
I'm not gonna hate on Taylor Swift because she is great, but like we know you're a secret Swiftie, Mr. Red Scarf. All I'm gonna say is that like it was another thing where it was like all I could think was like, all right, move on. But if I come to a sketch and I'm like, oh, SNL made a 20-minute story, I'm going to be so curious about that. But there's something about it in the episode where I'm watching it. The political thing, momentum killer. The Taylor Swift thing, momentum killer. Weekend Update, for somehow, some way, it manages to keep that momentum. Like if it goes like long, I don't feel that it's kind of like overstaying its welcome. But it feels like impervious to that. Everything else, like you just got to keep it. You got to make it like somebody trying to stay fit in the 90s. Keep it tight.
Okay. All right, got it. Let's wrap that conversation up there. Me personally, I don't care how long. Yeah, I don't care how long the sketch is.
Wait, so you're not a size king?
Yeah. I don't care how long a sketch is. I care how many cast members are in a sketch. I think there's way too many cast members in certain sketches. So that could be another argument for another day. But less cast members in sketches. That would be my wish for season 48. All right, let's go on to our topic number 4. Chat, make sure to let us know who won debate number 3. All right, let's talk about Weekend Update a little bit. So Weekend Update, obviously a long segment of the show, has been, the longest that we've ever seen it in its current format. We're headed
You're doing this on purpose. You're doing this on purpose.
We're headed towards season 9 of potentially Colin and Michael, and then of course Colin Jost being there previously with Cecily Strong. Oof, and it's been a while.
Tenure.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and this
oh my god,
they're the longest running Weekend Update anchors of all time. But Weekend Update seems to work for a lot of people. Obviously, we're headed towards the midterms. They do really well politically. People feel that the strongest elements of, Colin and Michael on Weekend Update has been their political stuff. So it will be interesting to get to see what they will do coming up at, 2022, potentially all the way up until 2024. But let's talk about this for the fourth topic today. Is it time for a new era of Weekend Update? Yes or no? TJ, we're going to start with you on this one. What do you think?
No, not necessarily, because I have a lot of fun when I watch it. I'm still enjoying it. I get excited and passionate when I do or don't get a joke swap. I can watch them several times a year. And while I would love to see like what Che's like take things solo, what I would like to see what like Che's solo takes on stuff would be, it's kind of like Marvel with Captain America, where they're almost not going to let a black man be Captain America. So like I'm fine with like this they eventually did, but they kind of let him do it. But like I like this.
He's getting a movie,
huh? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I like the pairing of the two of them. They work really well together. Like there's something about them, even when they do press, they're a joy to see. I enjoy Jost and Che. I think they're a fantastic team. Like as much as I loved like Cecily when she was in the chair for just like half a season or something. She and Jost, they're amazing performers, but like they didn't have that same gel, that brotherly, I'm gonna beat you up a little bit. Like synergy that Colin and Che have. There's something like comfort. Like I'm wondering if this is like what old people got like when they would watch Jay Leno like in the 2000s, and they were like, I'd watch Leno and then I'd go to sleep. I feel that comfort now as a 29-year-old. Like when I'm watching, like I get like the minute I hear that like da 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 da, it's Weekend Update. I get like amped. I am not. Don't get me wrong. If there's a change, I'm not going to be upset, but I could definitely say that like a healthy marriage, the passion has not died. I'm sorry for all these terrible analogies. I hear myself.
Yeah. So Andrew,
what
TJ
Andrew?
TJ obviously feels like Colin and Michael are his Jay Leno. How do you feel?
I don't know. Your argument wants to be. I see Colin and Michael, and I feel like it's time to go to bed.
I mean, the show is on at midnight.
I'm just saying. So obviously I'm going for yes, and this is again, I want to preface this with nothing against Colin and Michael. I felt like especially when they first started season 40 or whatever, like I was one of the only ones out there defending them. Like people hated them in the first two seasons, and I was like, yeah, these guys are fine. Like I don't know what everybody's on about. But it was somewhere along last season that I don't know if it was me or if I was kind of seeing it in them as well, where I believe the marriage is kind of dying. Like I feel like we've kind of run a lot of the the playful rivalry stuff into the ground. There's no new room for that. Both of them at certain times just kind of seemed like they didn't want to be there, and it was a lot of like I kind of already know which lane they're gonna take on some of these jokes. And so with a lot of things in the show, I think it's just lasted a little bit too long. And I believe wholeheartely that it is time for a new era for sure. Some new perspective, and lanes for jokes. And I don't know who that would be. Obviously, I'm sure somebody's thinking about it, and they're probably auditioning and thinking about it because whatever it's going to happen soon. Even if they get one more season, I don't think it's going to go much further than that. They're already the longest tenured Weekend Update hosts, and I think once you get there, you should probably stop anyway because it's been 48 seasons, and you guys have been there the longest. It's that might be a little warning bell of maybe you've done as much as you can do. So I think it's just it will be refreshing. I mean that as we already stated, like I don't like, and I know some people, like you kind of said, the it being comfortable, SNL being comfortable, Jay Leno being comfortable, knowing it's always there. Whereas I enjoy I don't know what this is gonna be, and so I do want to see a weekend update where I'm like, ooh, I don't know what this is gonna be. Like the season open last year with James, and I was like, ooh, I don't know what this is gonna be. And by the end of it, we loved him. Said he had the breakout rookie season. And so I just think that people don't, they often just stick with like, well, I like this and I don't want it to change without thinking about the fact that there could be, there could be somebody else out there, and somebody did say they're head writers, and it's also time for them to leave that spot as well. 100%. Che has written some of the most embarrassing sketches of the last 2 years. Hands down. Gen C Hospital is right there. Like he writes sketches and they get clowned on online.
Well, let's keep our conversation to weekend update, because I think that's what we're debating here.
Well, I mean, I think, but still, it's all part of it, because then they would have to leave the update chair as well. So I think that's, it is a little bit all part of the question. And I think it's
all right. TJ, counterpoint.
Wait, I thought I was told that if you were weekend update anchor, you didn't have to be head writer.
You don't.
I mean, it was only something that started with Tina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think Colin and Michael were head writers when they started on Weekend Update. Were they?
Colin was.
Maybe?
Colin may have been.
Yeah. And then he left.
Yeah.
And then he left for, then Shara
like
Snyder
Seth was the head writer, and then I guess maybe he was a head writer or writing supervisor at that point, but he wasn't like, he didn't run the show, I don't think, at that point, and there was at least a transition. Yeah, there was a transition period, so I wouldn't necessarily equate the two exactly, but that's certainly what we've seen the last few seasons. Oh yeah, so Colin was confirmed. Thanks, Alice. But yeah, TJ, what is your counterpoint?
I can see some of the merits of Andrew's argument. It's also kind of funny that at one point, but we're kind of now arguing different points about, like, one of us was arguing about consistency, the other was arguing about change. I can see what you're saying about, like, the things feeling comfortable. That was kind of like the way I just described my argument. You're absolutely right. But here's the thing. Just like that question earlier about, like, which cast member will, I don't know the future, man. When I watch Che and Jost, I may have a good understanding of their beats, but when I'm describing comfort, I am not yet bored. Comfort can be me watching a YouTube video and not paying attention to it. Why am I going so far to YouTube? But I don't know. It can be like me having something on in the background. I'm still incredibly attentive of, like, what they're doing. I don't know what their joke might be. I appreciate a callback. I appreciate when they do something familiar. I have good ideas of what they're going to do. But I think the strongest essence of what truly matters is, what is the joke? I don't know what joke they're going to tell. I have no idea what that is. They might like, and in essence, if like Ego and Sarah, next season decided to come in and they're the new update anchors. Let's pause and picture, like, wow, what a timeline that would be. But like, right, yeah, that'd be interesting. But like, regardless, even you would know, okay, Sarah's going to be weird, and Ego. Actually, I don't know what Ego would really be. Now that I think about it, Ego could surprise us. But for the most part, we know what would come down to it is they would deliver a joke. There's only so many times that, like, Sarah Sherman, I'm only thinking about this because I know she wears a lot of clown clothes, at some point might throw a pie in the face of a Weekend Update anchor. but at some point, you can't do that for, like, what that segment is. And Colin and Che they're incredible joke writers. Colin hasn't slowed down after, marrying Scarlett Johansson. I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that one. All I'm saying is basically they're still great joke writers, and I get really excited for them. I laugh heartily when I'm watching it live or when I'm watching it, like on Hulu. I'm still fully energetic. I said this on the first time I was on this program. I sit down with snacks in like a meal, and I would watch SNL. Like, I didn't watch it live until I started doing this program. I would be excited, and I'd be cheering on the cast and the people and laughing like my dad watches the Ravens game. Like, I still feel like that. Whenever you hear the audience groan, ooh, at a Che joke, I am fists in the air. Hell yeah, man. Tell the joke. I'm here at home laughing. They still are able to, like, drive a lot of passion and energy. And I think, yes, you can see bits of comfort, but it's mostly because I know that they're going to excel and I'm going to enjoy it.
So let me ask you guys something. Yeah, does one of them have to leave for it to become a new era of Weekend Update, or do both have to leave?
Colin has to leave for it to become a new era. If Michael leaves, it'll just because did Colin host with Seth for a second?
Yeah, with Cecily. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
not with Cecily.
Not with Seth.
Not with Seth. Okay, because Seth.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Cecily bridged that gap.
Yes, that's what I'm remembering. That's why I was thinking half of a season. I was like, why am I thinking of Cecily? She did half with both of them. Okay. Yeah, Colin would have to leave for it to become a new era because then Michael's the veteran. And I want to see Michael with I hate this reference for a black man. I want to see him with the chains off. Like I want to see what he does with it. I know I heard it myself. It was crazy. Like I want to see him with that filter off. Michael and anyone else in that chair is a different energy. Colin in that chair and Michael leaving, Colin's just going to bring more neutrality and more lightness and, for lack of a better term, sex appeal. We all hear how he gets the bigger woos, during the introductions. I'm Colin Jost. Woo! Like, he gets a ton of them. He's going to bring, I'm so sorry, Colin Jost. He's going to get more of that same type of energy where I feel like Michael mixed with anyone is like throwing Oreos into an ice cream flavor. It's just going to make it better and more a little out there.
I mean, obviously, I think if one leaves, they both got to leave. It's kind of a package deal at this point. And, I'm with TJ that I would be more interested in seeing with Michael with somebody else because I feel it could change up the dynamic a little bit, but not enough. I feel Michael would still be doing Michael Che jokes. Like, I don't think there would be a chains off moment for him. I think it would just be kind of, Michael doing Michael stuff. But again, we've gotten 8 years of that. So, it's like I think Monette said, like, how many, this person seeing here, laughing at a dying child jokes. Like there's a lot of like wells that they go to, that
I'm still laughing about it. Yeah. It still is making me laugh.
No, to me at this point, it's just like, oh my God, how many times have we done this joke?
Who cares? As long as you find it funny. As long
I
as
don't.
You laugh at
that's the point.
Okay,
then that's you.
Let's wrap up this segment here. Let's wrap this up. So that is our debate number 4. Let us know if you think it should be a new era of Weekend Update, and if you say no, did TJ win, or if you say yes, did Andrew win? Curious what your thoughts are in the chat. Let us know. Okay.
Apparently, I'm not winning, but I don't care. I'm here to argue. Like I'm here just to fight.
No problem. That's why we hired you. Okay, let's go on. Yeah, let's go on to topic number 5. We're going to keep looking forward to season 48, and this is a question that we talked about a lot on the podcast in the last month when we did our career retrospectives on Kate McKinnon, A.D. Bryant, Pete Davidson, and Kyle Mooney. We talked about these 4 cast members who have been at the show a very long time, and we said, okay, they're leaving the show now. Should SNL consider adding new cast members for season 48? And that is a big question. Obviously, we're down to 17 right now. 15 if you don't count Colin and Michael. So it'll be interesting to see what SNL ends up doing. They have not gone ahead and not hired new cast members in easily like 15, 16 years or something like that. They've always been bringing somebody in. So it would be very surprising if they didn't. I do know that they are definitely looking, but doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to bring somebody on. So the question is, should SNL add new cast members for season 48? Yes or no? Andrew, starting with you on this one.
So I think, for most people, this answer is going to be surprising, but my answer is yes. But this is a yes that takes place almost in an alternate dimension because, as much as I would love to see new fresh faces in the cast, I don't want it to be another 2022 people in the cast. So it's like almost with a caveat of if more people leave, then yes, but it kind of just goes back to me just wanting new, fresh things from the show. And that's what new cast members will do is they're going to bring something new and fresh that I haven't seen. And then we get to go on the ride with them. And, so it is, I mean, I would stick with like 2 people at most. But if there is a universe where more people actually do decide to leave over the summer, I wouldn't be mad at 3, I do think the show does kind of need to continue to look forward to the future, because as we've stated, there was a whole era that we've skipped over, where now the people that should have had an era a couple years ago are also like on their 6th, 7th year. And, you know, it's going to get to the point where I'm going to get annoyed with them still being on the show, kind of like with Kate. We're just like, I don't know how much you can give to this at this point. So it's real rough. I went with yes, mostly for the sake of argument, but it does kind of take place in a world with a lot of caveats. But yes, because I'd like to see fresh faces on the show.
For sure. And I know Manette in the chat is asking, does this include in-house hires? Definitely. Yeah. It doesn't matter where they come from, but we want to know, should SNL add new cast members for 48? TJ, let's get your counterpoint.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say anything that's you know that hasn't been said a million times. Of course not. What is Andrew Haynes's actually, sorry, John, can you tell me what is Andrew Haynes's Twitter handle?
SNL has a cast.
And as sarcastic as that Twitter handle is, he's right. Like, look, sure, there's some people that have had the chance. Sorry, this sounds terrible, because I love each and every single person in this cast. So I'm speaking objectively here. Whatever. There are some people that have had their chance, and we've seen what they can do, like Alex Moffat or my beloved Melissa Villaseñor. But it's time. It might be time for them to go. Sure, I can see that. Or maybe the fact that some of the biggest heavy hitters and the biggest names, and Kyle Mooney, are now have now left the show. I said what I said. Have now left the show. We can. My primary answer, honestly, is, and I'm flailing a little bit, which is like fine. I don't care, because I'm very passionate about. No, I don't. I could care because I'm having fun and I enjoy talking about this.
I thought this was a shoe-in for you, TJ. So
yeah. The answer
is really falling apart.
No, I'm flailing because I feel like it's so obvious. Like, no, because we haven't gotten a chance. Like, of course, the obvious answer that Manette would love is me to mention Aristotle. That's obvious. This is an SNL podcast. That's where people are going to go. You know, can we see more of what Sarah can do? More room. It's nice to have the show breathe a little bit. Kate McKinnon is an incredible tour de force and one of the best SNL cast members of all time. And I was not mad when she would show up in a sketch. Not ever, because she's funny and she's fantastic. But good God, was I glad that she left. She was taking up so much room. Like, it wasn't annoying, but it was I'm happy and I like you, Kate, but please, like, and it's not her fault, it's Lauren's fault. We don't need to add more people in. Maybe later on, of course. I love seeing new faces. Like, you know, I mean, my favorite cast member is Lauren Holt. I'm fucking around. I'm totally kidding.
Why you gotta be so mean, TJ?
No, but like, Lauren Holt is somebody that like couldn't thrive.
You are fumbling such an easy touchdown here.
I could care less. I really could, because
you could be winning this so easily.
No matter how weak my argument might be, that does not make my answer any less right. Because SNL doesn't need to hire any more people because they have a fantastic cast. And the simplest argument to it is that we just haven't got a chance to see enough of this cast. You know, I want to see what more Heidi can do. I want to see that like level up Ego should have had 2 years ago. I want that alternate pandemic timeline. I want that cast to be highlighted, and we haven't had that. And adding in more new people, PDD doesn't count because they've already been there. Like, adding in more people just kind of like it kind of keeps bloating it and bloating it and bloating it. I want to see more of the people you've already shown me, instead of just hoping that I get a chance to see them.
Now, how about this? Okay, how about this?
Mm-hmm.
We keep the cast as it is, but new Weekend Update anchors.
Are they from the cast?
Or writing crew, but just fresh faces.
No.
There.
I want it to be a face I've seen, unless it's Sam J, because Sam J was already in SNL. Unless it's Sam J or Rosebud Baker.
Why does that have to be somebody from the cast? I mean, Tina Fey wasn't in the cast before she joined Weekend Update.
You know what's crazy?
It doesn't always have to be that way.
You know what's crazy, old man Andrew? I didn't know that. I didn't. You look at you out here educating.
And I would argue you don't want the cast to be the update anchors because it kind of takes away from them having more time to do stuff elsewhere in the show. You want somebody who kind of can just carve out Weekend Update as their time, focus on that rather than having Weekend Update and I'm in 3-4 sketches this week.
I agree and disagree with you on that because like I said, Cecily is my favorite cast member of all time, and she's my favorite also Weekend Update anchor of all time. Yet, if she hadn't left, the Weekend Update desk, we wouldn't have gotten a chance to see all the amazing things she's already
I
done.
think she basically said that. It was like, I didn't have enough time to do what I wanted to do. So, she took it upon herself to I don't really want to kind of keep on doing this. So
it's a fair point. I mean, granted, my answer still stands to the original question, but to the other one, the other one that you're posing, it is making me ponder.
Okay. All right. And so, Andrew, you say that if SNL should add new cast members, you're saying that they should add how many? You said 2?
I said 2 at most. If we're sticking here at 17 at most 2. I would, 1 honestly. But like I said, I mean, it's more in a universe that isn't happening right now. I feel like, I mean, I know the pandemic happened and everything, but SNL's really fumbled the ball on kind of transitioning through these eras and these casts that it's had over the last decade, and it's kind of had more overlap in weird, odd ways to make it kind of one amorphous blob of an era that feels like it should be 3, separate kind of eras of 3 to 4 years where it was these people kind of running the show, and then these new people rose up. So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of want to see the show maybe still looking towards the future more now because, again, we can now focus on these people that have been there, but they have been there. So, it's not going to be that terribly new to me. And like I said, I mean, if we want to call it a wash there, I would take nobody but new Weekend Update,
All right. And TJ, if they had to add new cast members, how many would you pick?
I'm sorry. Did you hear my answer to the question? I said none.
No. All right. Glad you're sticking to it. Yeah, that's fine. For me, I would add 1. Yeah, there you go. 1. Because I think
it'd be a PDD guy, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily. No, that's fine. I mean, I think that, I made the point throughout the season. I think that they had some sort of flex opportunities last year where had more cast members not come back, they actually would have been in the cast. That's, sort of what I've heard through the grapevine. And, if they're fine in their current roles, I'm okay with that. I don't.
I honestly can't see them as cast members. They are fine as a team in their own little carved out section. But it would be like having Al Franken or Tom Davis as a consistent cast member. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I would go 1 because I think that 1 cast member, to me, bringing 1 into the mix once a season, to me, is probably guarantees a higher rate of success. I haven't necessarily done the math on that per se, but I think that you talk about the Bill Murrays of the world, coming in and joining that cast. I think, Bobby Moynihan at a certain point comes in and he joins a cast and that's in existence, an existing dynamic. Mm-hmm. I think when you start to, bring in these 1 cast members at a time, Kate McKinnon comes in at the end of the season. She joins an existing cast. Yeah. She ends up having a successful start to her season. I think right now for me, I feel like there were some really incredible new hires. The entire writing team was just ripped up and destroyed. Please don't destroy it last season. And now they're back. And, we have this new dynamic in the writing team. I think that could be interesting just to throw in if they find that 1 person. That's just it for me. But all right, chat, you got to let us know who won this 5th debate that we had here tonight. Should SNL add new cast members for season 48? Andrew or TJ, who was given the layup, and we'll see.
Whatever.
All right. All right, let's get to our last debate of the evening. And this is going to be a fun one because this is a question that I've been talking about for a long time. I like to compare a little bit, reality TV sometimes to SNL because it is a reality show in a way. And, a lot of reality shows have public auditions. They let people go to casting calls and audition for that. And my question really was, is should SNL have some sort of open audition casting call? Because every July we hear about how the producers go out to different comedy festivals and start scouting and stuff like that. But it's always such a secretive process. It's like, who do you know and how do you get connected? Wouldn't it be great if the public could learn more? And something really hilarious happened in June, by the way, where a TikToker named Jake Novak
this guy. Oh, God.
had this viral TikTok that he made where he wanted to join the cast of SNL. TJ, you're going to love this here.
I hated
want to be
this.
the next SNL
Oh my
cast
God.
member, and here's why I should be a contender.
I feel
learned
so
Michael's
bad
on Jake
for this
Novak,
guy.
and I know that you're feeling the heat because your roster lost Kate, Kyle, 80, and Pete. That means you got an open seat, and I feel I ought to be feeling
Stop
it because
this.
when it
John,
comes to
stop
comedy
this.
songs,
It's
This
so
is too mean. This is
It's
too
so
mean.
thirsty. Oh my God.
All right. So my question is,
he's
should
getting roasted for that video. Like he's getting filleted.
Yeah.
I can hear the grease sizzle. Like how badly he's being roasted.
I mean, never.
That video.
It was so rare to see the entire internet stand up and say no to this one man. No. And I was like, oh
Looks
my
like
God,
Mikey-
this poor man.
Looks like Mikey Day from Wish.
So we never really talked about this on the podcast very much, but yeah, this is pretty rare. I mean, like if you look up people's like Survivor or Big Brother auditions on YouTube, I mean, those things are up there. But looking at if someone's SNL audition on YouTube or TikTok, I mean, this is pretty rare that we get something like this where somebody just like puts something out there on the internet and says that they want to join the SNL cast. I think it was pretty interesting, regardless of how bad that was. But
It was
TJ,
a play. It was a play.
Yeah. So anyways, but let's talk about it. Should SNL open up public cast auditions? Should there be a way for the every man or every woman to audition for Saturday Night Live? The story that we all want to hear, somebody going from a nobody or having no name to potentially being one of the biggest celebrities in the world. TJ, we'll start with you. Yes or no?
Okay. I'm going to say no. But honestly, I'm like 51-49 on that. And here's why. That video did it for me. We live in an era where we live in an era where everyone has a chance to elevate themselves. If you're entertaining and if you catch like the right eye, you glow up. It's as simple as that. Now, granted, a lot of that is also based on like consistency, having decent content that people can actually come back to and whatnot. But I mean, the antithesis to that is that Bella Porsche got famous off of a lip syncing video and she made a couple of hits. But for the most part, if people like what you're doing, you're gonna elevate. And I need to be corrected on this because yes, I know they're connected to the SNL cast. Was PDD hired more because of their SNL connection or because they're like? Because I remember seeing them on TikTok beforehand, but I didn't know it was them until like middle of the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had seen plenty of their videos before they were hired. Same with James. I had seen a couple of those Trump videos. So they did have a little bit of, internet fire underneath them.
I mean, also like, one of the heads of the show, it's Kid and also
There's also
Timberlake's
that.
Kid.
Yeah. Which I feel is kind of, I mean, they're.
But it's something I'm saying.
Not to say that they didn't earn it though. They were
absolutely earned it. They had it. It was easier for them, but they did earn it. Like they're funny.
They had an inline. So
yes. So okay. So I'm gonna say no, because the world of celebrity is a lot more gray nowadays. It's not like it was in 2000s or whatever. They made it seem like on Entourage. Terrible show. It's not. It isn't this like glory thing. Sorry. Stardom and fame and talent, like the whole world is no longer just California. You can now blow up, largely because of the pandemic, but because of the internet also, you can blow up just being in your house and making funny videos. I feel like it should not be like America's Got Talent where it's like, all right, I'm going to go out and audition for SNL, because honestly, I don't know if SNL has the patience to talk to every single American out there. Granted, we would all watch that reality show. Every single one of us would watch an SNL audition reality show.
I'd try.
I wouldn't try it. I would watch it. It'd be great entertainment. But I'm saying they shouldn't open. I would have said yes, they should have opened it up if this was like 2004. But because everyone now, even ourselves, like we're currently podcasting, like yes, we're enjoying talking about this, but we are putting ourselves out there. You know, little bits of performance or little bits of like podcasting and showing selves. We're living in an era where people do that just in their day to day. There is this blend of social media and performance and of branding. I don't know. Bo Burnham says it much better, but all I'm saying is the public already is sort of like at that same level of like entertainers trying to like glow up. The only difference is like PDD, one, they had an inline, but two, they also did have bits of popularity. The only thing people need nowadays is you need sorry. What I'm trying to say is that like it's a lot easier now to like get connected. All you really need to do is get popular, and if you are popular, somebody is going to notice you, and that somebody could be from SNL. So I feel like if you open it up to like asking, hey, does anyone want to audition? I think it'll oversaturate. It'll just kind of be a big time wasting process. I don't know if you'd get through everyone in a summer. So instead, like, let's keep it at the thing where people who do shine through, you know, even in those little niche pockets, they are the ones that like get the chance. Cause like those are because they're not in the comedy clubs. That is the public for that audition pool to me. The people who get like viral content, except for that god awful. I want to be like that god awful video, you know?
Okay. All right. Andrew, let's get in on this.
So I said yes, but you know, it's in a very, again, with caveats to the whole idea. Because in a way, I mean, you know, cast auditions are open up to the public, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Most of these people are not huge, and you know, they are pulling from the talent pool of where these people are already going to put themselves to be, you know, good on SNL. I don't think just a random TikToker is going to be a great SNL cast member, because I don't think they've learned. They don't have the same qualities. Not that, you know, not to say everybody doesn't, but you know, you're not going to have the same sort of stage presence or, you know, acting ability. You rarely interact with other people like in a sketch type of fashion. So, you know, if you want to be on SNL, you're going to be putting yourselves, you know, in a Second City or Groundlings type of situation anyway. But the thing that I've always found fun with, and I'm going to be old man Andrew again. There was a time in the very first couple of seasons where they would do just send us in your home movies, no more than 2 minutes, and we'll air them on the show as filler material.
You
got to see some wondrous things. That's where Mr. Bill started.
Oh my God, can you beat my Dungeon Master? This is amazing.
Yes, really
but that
cosplaying here.
That is where Mr. Bill, you know, that's where Mr. Bill started, and that did get Walter Williams a spot, you know, on the show writing. And I've recently been rewatching season 3 of the show, where the first half of the season, the lead up to Christmas, is the Anyone Can Host contest. And it's super fun. And, you know, you get the old grandma, you know, the 80-year-old lady who loved SNL, Miskell Spillman. She's the one who ended up hosting the Christmas episode. And, you know, I've been running it on the streams, and everybody's like, it would be pandemonium if they did this again, because it would just be, you know, it'd be crazy, but it'd be awesome. Everybody would be talking about it. Like SNL, if they did it again, that's what I'm saying, is like SNL has done so many interesting things over the years that it somehow refuses to do again, even though it'd be awesome.
They had a billionaire host. They're doing interesting things all the time.
That is interesting in the absolute worst way.
You literally just used the word to negate my argument. It's still interesting. If Addison Rae hosted,
it was interesting on how much it tested my faith in the show.
You still said interesting. That's all that matters. It's still interesting.
I'm trying to make a joke out of this, TJ, because it really wasn't interesting. It was embarrassing. It was fucking embarrassing. So no, and you know what? That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see Elon Musk. I don't want to see Donald Trump hosting the show.
Well, that's the opposite of what I'm asking. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
That would be fun. That
yeah.
is fun and interesting.
You don't want to see like a successful person. You want to see the common man. You want to see what did not Haynes, Haskell in the never hosted draft, he picked himself to host his last episode. I still think I love that he did that because it was such like a fun move to do. But like, yes, hell yeah, like let's see Andrew Haskell host SNL. Like, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know, whatever.
And so you like you just said, make either you have the reality show aspect of it, and like each week they kind of gave you updates to what was happening. And then there was one episode with Buck Henry where you got to see the 5 finalists, and they all kind of had a little piece to do in the episode. And then finally it led to Miskell at the Christmas episode. And so you take that and you take like Mr. Bill and the other home movies that they've aired over the years. I think that still happened up until like season 7 or something like that. And it's all fun and super charming and kind of brings the show down to, yes, like a common man type of like, yeah, you know, it's a that feeling of the like, yeah, we're putting on a show, guys. Like it's less the glossy NBC network giant putting together this very, you know, tightly ran, you know, oiled machine, and it's more just like, man, this feels like me and my friends putting on a show. And hey, they ran our little home movie sketch that we did. Isn't that great? And so yeah, I think the show just in a general fashion needs to kind of work under the whole idea of what if we opened it up to the general public in a fashion. They could also be running their Twitter that way as well. Like they should be like doing polls of like, you know, what should be the vintage SNL that you rerun this week, you know, like they should be doing polls like that. Like here's 3, which one would you want to see the most? Like I feel it's all kind of simple stuff that they're not doing.
All right, well, TJ, let's get your counterpoint and then let's wrap up this segment. We'll have people vote on the segment and then I'll give my take.
I think there's a thing that like I need to admit here. I hate the public. I hate the common man. I hate base people. I don't like ordinary people. I'm only here with you, gentlemen, because I enjoy you. I think you are dynamic and I enjoy your takes. All right. I don't like basic people. I do not want. Now, granted, that old lady thing that does sound like something I would want to watch. Absolutely, but I don't want to see like. I don't know. I don't want to see like an accountant who just goes to work, goes home, eats TV dinners, and then like just goes back to work the next day. No, I don't care.
Granted, I don't think that guy's going to be auditioning anyway.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that like
I'm not saying pluck people from the street. I'm saying have people come into auditions. It's not like you, sir, should definitely be on the SNL cast.
Okay, because I feel like this slowly, if this was about cast audition, I feel like we slowly transitioned to like who we would like to host. And my original take on cast auditions, yeah. My original take on this is that like a lot of times I feel like stand-ups usually are like is the term cutting their teeth, you know, where they're kind of grinding. Usually you hear like until you see a stand-up get like a TV appearance, they've been except for like Bo Burnham is like an exception. But like usually you hear stories about them kind of grinding for a few years. Like I don't know how long Rosebud Baker has been doing like comedy, but she's already established and she like got into that SNL sphere. But I'm sure she's probably been doing comedy for a minimum 10 years. What I'm trying to say is that like a lot of times I'm only speaking to just stand-ups. A lot of times stand-ups, it feels like they kind of like are like working hard, or they've been working hard for a while and then they go on SNL. I feel like with entertainers, like, you know, with like actors, with improvisers, they've had a chance to fail. And granted, going into an audition sucks. If the auditions are open up to the public and it's like their first audition, I don't know. There's just something like you need to have a thick skin for SNL. Like I have a thick skin, but I couldn't do SNL. I just don't have the constitution for it. I'm not talented enough for it.
But you audition?
I think, huh? I want to audition because no, and to be honest, and to be fair, I don't know if I should. To be in some way, I don't have a full like. What I'm trying to say is that we like that we have experienced people. I like that Sam J or Rosebud Baker are people that have come through that were like writing on SNL. I like that Heidi Gardner was making YouTube videos with something called Family Sandwich before she came on. I like that JAJ got a chance to like practice his impressions before he came on and nail it in front of television. I don't need you to be someone who is only look, you can be a performer, but I need you to have actually performed. I need a little bit of experience rather than, oh, I got a chance to, like, I was inspired by watching some Disney movies. I sang in a hairbrush in my mirror a bunch of times, and then I went out and this is my first audition. I don't want the public to do this, because SNL brings in champions, incredible people. Even though we don't know what like Lauren Holt might like do, you know damn well she probably had to do it exceptionally well to get on that show. We know now that people like Brooks Wheelan, Noel Wells, or Luke Knoll, maybe even John Berninsky, like people who were hired in these 2010s era, while they may not be, you know, at this like high level, they are clearly like still, like when you've seen them in other things, you clearly see them able to be like comedically sharp.
Yeah, even further back, Jenny Slate. I mean, has had
Yeah.
an incredible
Oh my
career
God.
post
Absolutely.
SNL,
Absolutely. Like we, so all I'm saying is that, like, no, absolutely not.
All right, so then that is the last debate that we had today. So if you think you are more on TJ's side of no, then please let us know if he won that debate. Or if you think you're more on Andrew's side of yes, let us know if he won this final debate. You can let us know in the chat or after the fact. And I will just say, for my take on this, I am 100% absolutely yes, SNL should open up auditions to the public. I think
You're
that for the future of the show to survive, I think this needs to happen. I think there needs to be more transparency about how people, you know, get onto the show. And I think that, you know, we hear all these stories all the time about former cast members, how they just looked up to this one particular cast member and they wanted to be like them. I can only imagine how many people who are either listening to our podcast or watching SNL or whatever they're doing, watch and just say, like, one day I would love to be on that stage, but there's no actual way to do that. And then additionally, on top of that, I just think that you want to have the best people possible for the show. I watch American Idol every single season. I've still watched since the beginning. And every year I'm like, there can't be more singers that are great. And then there's more. And they just keep coming out with more. And for me, I'm like, if you just open up the pool to the public, we're going to find better SNL cast members, more diverse SNL cast members, because frankly, like, look, clearly there is some connections that has to do with this. And when you have an institution that started that was, let's be real, majority white. I mean, they ended up hiring majority white people.
It was?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to break this to you, TJ.
Yeah. And, you know, you'll be able to hire more diverse people, in my opinion, because you will have that open pool to the public. So I think that for me, to me, this is a no-brainer. This is something that needs to happen eventually. But I definitely see the other side, which is there is a degree of separation between the people who get on the show and the public that makes the show special. So that's why I think it's an interesting debate.
And here's something I was thinking about, and I've thought about often, and I just don't know if it would work. But I'd like, you know, like if SNL had like a farming team type of show.
I thought about literal farms for a second. I really.
Yeah, well, is
I
thought about literal farms. Comedy on a farm, and the cow is your co-host. And how
is that not Second City or the Groundlings though? That
in a sense, but you would air it, you
yeah.
know, and you know, so it could be like a secondary. And I don't know if it would work of having people graduate, you know, to SNL from there. But I just thought that would be an interesting way to kind of deal with the cast bloat that the show kind of, you know, has at this point. And you know, it's like, would that be good? I don't know. I really don't know. But I think it would be interesting. And no.
I can see where you're going with the hosting part. I think that creates a fun every 10 years episode. I can see that, because we honestly, in a way, you would just see the other cast members elevate. But like, no, I don't want to see the common man. We just saw it. That Jake Novak guy. I don't want to be.
That is not a common man.
Wait, you're
I
telling
don't know
me
what his other content
I
is.
want to be the next SNL cast member.
This is
John!
Let's wrap this episode up, because I think we had a lot of fun tonight. If you enjoyed the point counterpoint that we had tonight, and you want to see more of this, whether it's with Andrew and TJ or two of our other panelists, we have so many great panelists on our show, and you want to see some other people debating, let us know, because we could definitely bring this back throughout season 48. I think it would be a lot of fun to do this again, and always appreciate your feedback to let us know who won all of these debates tonight. In the meantime, let's talk about what's coming up here on the SNL Network. So in case you missed it, obviously we had our career retrospectives on all the departed cast members. Those were fantastic. I'm really proud of those if you want to go check those out in case you missed them. And coming up next week, we are launching our first episode of a new podcast series that will take us through the end of July into August. And it will be with our patrons of the SNL Network, and it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be counting down the top SNL characters of all time as voted by you, the fans. So in case you missed that vote, we put that out on social media today. You can either vote in our Instagram story, on Twitter, or on Reddit to get your characters in. We're going to add up all of those votes, and we have patrons coming on every single week to help us count down and explain why those characters are the best SNL characters of all time. I look forward to getting to talk to those people. It'll be a lot of fun. We do open up our stuff to the public, so if you would like to become a podcaster for this podcast series, you can find us at patreon.com/the SNL Network. We still have a few spots open on some of those shows, so if you like what Andrew and TJ and I do, and you think you could talk some SNL, definitely join us at patreon.com/the SNL Network. So that will be coming up. Our first episode where we will start at number 20, 19, 18, and 17, I believe. Ooh. Will be next Monday.
Rooting for my boy, Dr. Jack Badowski.
We will see if he gets enough votes to make it.
It will not.
Yes, for sure. All right, Andrew, please tell the listeners where they could find you, and also what's coming up on your podcast soon.
Oh my God, John, this is crazy. Yeah, so That Week in SNL, y'all know me, the show. We're kind of in the summer months right now, so we're kind of, putting some Patreon episodes from last year onto the feed. So we're, covering, it's where we kind of break out and cover other things, talking about Fridays and what else have we done. We're talking about other sketch shows, but in a couple weeks we have Mr. John Schneider back onto the show to cover the second of the 2 summer episodes that SNL did in between the first and second season. So we will be talking about the massively drunk Chris Christopherson and his wife and musical guest Rita Coolidge. And that will be coming up soon. So, yes. And also, I've yet to kind of lay the groundwork for the next season of our show, but there's no doubt TJ will be in there somewhere. We're going to work it out.
Yeah, better.
Yeah. So no doubt it's going to happen, bud. It's going to happen.
For sure. And I will promise I was not massively drunk for that episode.
One of the first things John said when I popped on here is like, I got really drunk during that show.
So it'll be another side of John Schneider. I get to see. It'll be fun coming out in a few weeks. TJ Randolph, thank you as always for joining us. Always a very fun person to talk to about Saturday Night Live. Where can the listeners reach out to you and hear everything you got going on your podcast?
Well, let me just first say, all my claws and dumb shit I say to my mouth aside, I had a lot of fun doing this. I meant everything in jest. I really had a lot of fun. Andrew, I would be glad to podcast with you anytime. But if you ever want to hear my voice more, I have a podcast called Rabbit Trail. It's RABID, Rabbit Trail. It's a 15-minute podcast. And I'm really excited to shout out one of, I think, the SNL Network's favorite listeners and just all-around cool people. Manette is on an episode we have coming out. This is coming out this week. Is this coming out this week?
Yeah, this is live right now. You're live.
I know. I didn't know if you were dropping it in the feed, but basically, Manette, she's going to be joining us for an episode next week, where we want to talk to fellow listeners on why do people like podcasts so much, and we have a fun discussion. Just today, cool. It's Monday. Manette, she was delightful. We just had an episode drop on red flags, and then in a couple weeks, we're going to be doing one on green flags. And granted, you may think, are we talking about geography? No. We're talking about things we love and hate about people. And on July 4th, we got a chance to have one of the best SNL Network panelists, Sean Grant, joined us to talk about cookouts. This has just been a wonderful networking opportunity. If you want to learn a little bit more about my podcast, you can find us at We Are Rabbit Trail. That's RABID on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to find me, TJ, you can look me up at King Compliment on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for having me.
Yes, TJ. Thank you. I mean, I did enjoy the episode on the cookouts that you did with and I listened to it.
Was fun. Yeah, it was fun. That was fun recording.
It was great. I learned a lot. I always appreciated it. So I love hearing from Sean. He's fantastic. So
he's awesome.
Yeah, he was great. So thank you everybody for joining us here on this Monday night. It was a really fun show to do with all of you. And then of course, if you're listening, of course.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say that the 50th episode of my podcast is coming up next month.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been doing it in a year in September, but it was about to celebrate that milestone next month. So sorry to cut you off, John.
Congrats.
Congratulations, TJ. That's awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, really had a great time tonight. Of course, if you want to see everything we're doing at the SNL Network, find us Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Please subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify to catch up with everything we got going on. And of course, if you want to reach out to me at John Schneider 24, always love hearing from all of you. All right. For everybody in the chat, for Andrew, Dick, and TJ Randolph, my name is John Schneider from the SNL Network. We will see you next time, everybody.